you ever found yourself wondering how much food should I really have in food storage, or how do I know what to stockpile? If so, this video is for you because I'm here today to share my 5 baby steps of stockpiling with you. Before we get started, you might be wondering, well, who is this girl and why did she get to talk to me about stockpiling? I'm Kristen and I have a website called Joyfully Thriving, and I've been writing about stockpiling for about 10 years now, as well as building my own stockpile for my family. We are a family of 6. My husband is a Lutheran school teacher and I am a stay-at-home mom who works from home, blogging and sharing frugal money saving ideas. One of the biggest things that has saved our family money over the years and has allowed me to continue staying at home is having a stockpile. And without a doubt, hands down, it is the thing that saves us the most on our grocery budget and allows me to keep our grocery budget as low as I do. We currently spend about $475 for our family of 6 every month, and that includes our food, our toiletries, diapers, paper products, any and all of those things. Yes, we live in northern Indiana where food costs are reasonably low, but we've been able to do this for a long time because I have a stockpile, and that helps me keep my budget low. If you're curious, I do share grocery haul videos every week here on YouTube, so check some of those out if you want to see exactly what I'm buying and how much I'm spending. But let's talk about stockpiling a little more, shall we? All right, I have for you 5 baby steps that are going to make it easy for you to build the stockpile that your family needs. So let's try to keep this simple. I don't want this to be overwhelming for you, but as I was looking around and people were asking me questions, I realized there were no good answers on this. So I love Dave Ramsey's baby steps for his building savings and retirement. If you're not familiar with those, check them out. They are some great tips. So I decided to come up with my own for stockpiling. So here's where we are. Let's start with baby step number 1. This is simple and a great way to get started. You're going to begin by building a stockpile of 3 days of food and water. Now, if you look around your pantry and your kitchen, hopefully everyone has 3 days worth of food. If you suddenly couldn't go to the store, would you have enough to feed your family for 3 days? I hope so. But if not, add that to your list this week and go ahead and make sure you have 3 days worth of food, quick, easy meals. Don't worry about losing power or electricity. In fact, in all of these baby steps, I really encourage you to think that you're still going to have those things. Don't worry about those worst case scenarios and the what ifs out there, but just build a stockpile using these baby steps of things that you can readily access in your fridge, your freezer, and your pantry. Okay, so 3 days worth of food, but don't forget 3 days worth of water. Now, this is very often overlooked, but all emergency resources, if you look at them, really recommend having water, because if we were to lose water, things become pretty dire pretty quick. The recommendation is simply to have 1 gallon of water per person per day. Now, that is the minimum. If you need it for more, cleaning up and, toiletries, bathing, any more, they would say more obviously than that. But 1 gallon a person per day, use that as your rule, as your minimum. So you just multiply that out, figure out how much you need, and get 3 days worth of water stored. That's baby step number 1. Baby step number 2 is to take what you have and increase on this. It's like every baby step, Dave Ramsey, everything snowballs and you're building upon it. So baby step number 2 is to increase to a 2-week supply of food and water. Again, food, you probably, if you have been looking at stockpiling at all, have 2 weeks of food in your kitchen. But go ahead and look around, see what you have, start thinking through what do you eat for breakfast, what do you typically eat for lunch and dinner, and add those things to your list to build that out a little bit more and make sure you have 2 weeks worth of food. With water, you need to multiply this out again. Remember, 1 gallon per person per day. In my family of 6, when I multiplied that out, it was a little overwhelming because I realized that was 84 gallons of water. And I thought, where on earth am I going to store that much water? I knew it was important because we are on a well. And so when we lose power, we lose water because we have an electric well pump right now. So yeah, we needed to do that, but it was just overwhelming to think about storing all these gallons of water until I figured out that those 40-pack bottles, those cases, from Sam's or Costco, which come with 40 little individual water bottles, that actually equals 5 gallons of water. Now, and then if you stack those up, they stack very easily. You can tuck them in an out of way corner. And I was like, that is how I am going to store my water. They're easy to rotate through, that you can just, when you need a case of water, take one out to use it and replace it. But it was very easy. And for about $4 is the cost right now at Sam's. You can get 5 gallons of water just like that. Pick up a case or two every time you go and add to it until you get your 2-week supply of food and water. Baby step number 3 is where it's going to start to get a little more challenging, and that is to build up to a 1-month supply of food. At this point, I've decided to be okay with 2 weeks worth of water. I think that's a great thing for anyone to have an emergency. But now we're going to focus from here on out on food in the baby steps. So baby step 3 is to build that 1-month supply. There's 2 ways to do this. The first way is to start tracking everything that you open. Every time you open a bottle or a jar or a carton of something, put a date on it and see how long it takes you to use that up. So the next time you open a jar of peanut butter, put today's date on it and see how long it takes you to use that. So you'll know if you go through 2 jars of peanut butter a month, 4 jars of peanut butter a month, whatever it is. And that will give you a clear answer for how much you need each month. The other way to figure this out for a month is to look through the meals that you generally eat. Maybe you eat tacos every week. Maybe you eat, a certain casserole every other week. Maybe you're going to have pasta once a week. Think through those meals you're going to eat. Come up with either a 1-week plan or a 2-week plan, especially for dinners. This is what you can do. List out your ingredients and then multiply them out. And you'll have a very clear answer of what you need to have in that stockpile for a month's worth of food. And then simply start shopping. Watch for those sales, make your list, start checking things off until you get to that 1-month supply of food. And you're going to be feeling so good that you have slowly and methodically and logically built out this stockpile. And as every week, every trip, you can be building it slowly and steadily and working towards this goal in this baby step. Baby step number 4, when you're ready for it, is to increase up to a 3-month supply of food. Now, again, look back at what you had for 1 month and really you can just multiply it out. Okay, you can go through all of those things. I would also suggest that as you're stockpiling food at this point, you make sure you're including other things like your toiletries, like your dish soap, your laundry detergent, your toothpaste, shampoo, things that you use on a daily basis. Remember, a stockpile is more than just food. It includes everything you're using, especially diapers and wipes. Don't forget about those if you have little ones in diapers still. Very important. But take those lists that you've had, especially if you've developed that good list for a month, it makes it very easy to multiply and build out to a 3-month supply. When you get to that 3-month supply, that is a very good place to be for your family. Then the final baby step, number 5, is simply to increase your food storage and your stockpile as your family deems appropriate. This is an individual choice and will be up to everyone to choose for themselves and their family and their circumstances what makes sense to them. Some people work up to a 6-month supply. Some people want to have a year's supply or more. It just really depends. This is the point when you start to evaluate if you do need some long-term food storage, if you're going into that, purchasing some of those foods that can last for 30 years or more, that are freeze-dried and packaged like that. Or if you're going to invest in some buckets and start putting, food in buckets and Mylar bags, or even just storing extra flour and sugar, things for that longer bit of term. That is a decision that you need to make for your family. And that's why it's the 5th and final baby step. You figure out what is right for you and your family. Make sure you're stockpiling the things that you use on a regular basis. And there you have it. Those are my 5 baby steps for building a stockpile of food. I hope you found them helpful, and I'd love to know if you'd tell me in the comments, what baby step are you on? Our family is on baby step 4. We have that 3-month supply, and we're working towards a little bit more, towards that 6-month, a little bit further. Certain things I might be at a year, but well-rounded, I'm working on building that out for our family. Remember, your stockpile is to be used. It's not just food that sits on a shelf, so you should be rotating through it If you're looking for ideas on what to include in your stockpile or other stockpiling tips and advice, I do have a playlist. Be sure to check that out. And if you like this video, be sure to give me a thumbs up and subscribe for more videos that are to come in the future about stockpiling. Thanks for joining me, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.